How about a street legal car? What would be your fantasy street legal car?
I almost bought one once. It was, and this is back when I was on a series and I had money, and then my sister talked some sense into my head. It's through I think it was 64 through 67. Carroll Shelby made a car called the AC Cobra, and that to me is the ultimate American sports car. That there is no better looking American sports car than that car. I think it's better looking than the Corvette. I really do. Yeah, I do. I think it's better. And I've had Corvettes, but I've never owned a Cobra, and it was just way too much money. And my sister said, "Yeah, you're not buying that car. That's stupid." And it was a car that was for sale, and it had belonged to a fella, and he had it for sale, and it was a big block. It was a '66, but it was not a real car. It was a replica car, and it was owned by a rock and roll guy whose name I can't remember right now, Billy Idol. It was owned by Billy Idol, and it was built by American Shelby. So it was a replica car, but it was built by Carroll Shelby out in Vegas. But he wanted like $85,000 for the car, and I had the money, but my sister said, "That's like all the money you have in the world." And I said, "Yeah, but that's a lot of car." So no, I didn't buy it, but maybe someday we'll see. I'm not dead yet. Oh, they're so beautiful. It is just the epitome of American racing, of what, well, the story is that, as the story goes, and I know we're getting off of what we're supposed to be talking about, but I don't care. Henry Ford was supposed to buy Enzo Ferrari's company. And at the last minute, and this negotiation had been going on for like 15 or 16 months, and at the last minute, Enzo Ferrari said, "You're not buying my company, it's not for sale, see you later, beat it." And Henry Ford came to Carroll Shelby and he says, "I don't give a shit how much money I gotta spend. You beat Ferrari at Le Mans, and you beat them at Sebring. Beat them, and I'll give you any amount of money you want." And Carroll Shelby beat him 2 years in a row. Yeah. Henry Ford spent a shitload of money with the AC Cobra. And that, to me, that's why the AC Cobra, to me, is like the epitome of the American race car. It's just, and it's super cool. Not a real comfortable car to ride in, but it's super cool. Yeah. I would consider producing. I would never direct. There's too much coming at your face at one time. There's just, anybody on that set has a question, the buck stops with you. And if you make a mistake and they make it history in that camera, you have to live with it. And it's, you know what it is? To be honest, I'll just cut to the chase. It's too much responsibility for me. I don't want to do it. I saw what Ronnie Perlman went through when we were doing Beauty and the Beast. He wanted to direct so bad, and they let him direct like 2 episodes. And I must admit, he did a great job. But he was completely overwhelmed. In the first one, he was like, I said, because I'd stop by, and one of the shows that he directed I was in, and the other one I was not. And I had stopped by just to see how he was doing. I said, "Ron, how's it going? How's it going?" He goes, "Jesus, I thought it was just like acting. It's nothing like acting. Nothing." And plus, you remember now, he's acting in it and he's directing it. So he's on the inside of it and has to stay on the outside of it at the same time. And every single thing has to be run by that guy, by the director. What pictures go on the wall? Anything that goes inside that frame that they're going to make history with, right there, it's got to pass by that guy. And it's like, after a while, you want to say, just make up your mind and do it. Get away from me and let me do what I have to do. But that's all part of the job, to make sure that all of the colors are right and the table is this way just far enough that the focus on that picture on the wall is just out of focus, but you kind of know what it is, and it's like, it's just too much. No, I don't want that responsibility. But producing, that might be fun. That might be fun. Because what you do as a producer is, among many other things, distributing money properly and making sure that the film actually gets finished with the amount of money you have to deal with, is that you give your artistic crew, meaning the director, cinematographer, art director, and all the actors, and I'm sure I'm missing some people in there, but giving them everything they want within reason to make the best movie that they can within the budget. And I think that would be cool. Because it would be, a director says, well, I need a Luma arm, and we're going to need it for 3 days, and you just go, you can't have that. It costs $2,500 a day, and you need it for 3 days. I can give it to you for 1, but I can't give it to you for 3. See, I can do that. That would be more mechanical. But the whole artistic decisions and all that, that's not for me. Yeah. I'm not that good of an artist.
So in that role of producer, do they decide what project they take on? Is it signed? How does that kind of work as far as how much control they really have other than the financial?
Well, the producer has all the control. Well, let's be real about this. The studio has all the control. The studio runs the system. They are the crazy people running the asylum. But the producer is responsible. Producer has responsibility of the mechanics of the project to make sure you have, just use round numbers, you have $1 million and you have to shoot this entire movie for $1 million, get it edited, put it completely through post. Now, usually P&A, prints and advertising, is not included in that $1 million. So that comes later. More money comes from the studio later. But you have to make sure you budget your money correctly so that that entire movie gets made, and finished and delivered, color corrected and done to the studio for that much money. So it's a lot of responsibility, but I'd still rather do that than direct.
So what would you produce if you could? If you could take your pick of any kind of film.
I think I'd start small. And I like movies that are really humanistic told. I like stories about people. Listen, I like movies about explosions and guns too. I do. I like action films. They're great. I will go and definitely see, if there's a Mission Impossible movie out, if Captain America's coming out, and I will go see those movies. But there's also a movie called The Danish Girl that's coming out that looks great, and I can't wait to see it because it's about people and emotions, and I like that. That's where I started. That's actors. That's when you do these big movies, a lot of times you're reacting to something that's not there. Everything's green screen, and it's you're still acting, but it's not two souls. It's not two souls playing off of one another, or three souls playing off of one another. It's all cannibalized, and it's all CGI. Computer-generated image, and it's all stuff that is done in post in a computer. And I love those movies, but not as much as I like stories about the human spirit and the human heart. So I'd start with something pretty simple, I think. Have I ever done green screen acting? Yes. Yeah. And had to react to things that weren't actually there, and the monster's coming now! And yes, I've done that. Yep. Yeah, it's still acting, and you cannot be inhibited when you do it. And the first couple of times you do it, you are inhibited. You're like, you want to, as much as you want to say and you don't say, this is stupid. I don't want to do this, and you don't want to say that. So you just got to go, okay, I need a couple more to get used to this. I have to see, and they will. They understand if you've never done it before. They kind of bleed you into it and say, okay, this is the way it works. There's something that flies by here. We want you to react to it. So we're going to say fly first, and then you look up to your right, and you follow it with your eyes. And then you turn to the girl and you say, blah, blah, blah. Wow, he's flying really fast. And then look back, and there's going to be a big explosion right in front of you, and you both react. Here comes the fly, and fly. Wow, he's flying really fast. Boom! So to get used to that kind of thing, it just takes a couple of minutes.